comes up here. Hey, what's going on, family man? It's good to see you guys. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited, man. I'm hoping you guys are excited as much as I am, and hoping everything is working out well for your end. I am just really trying to cruise along life and make things as better and as great as I can make it, because there's greatness inside of me. So I gotta always portray that, and I gotta always dig deep, you know. But welcome to the One Blood Movement of Unity program. This is a Eye Opener Tuesday show. What we do here is talk about the elephant in the room. That is that major subject, that major, that big one that nobody really likes to talk about. No one wants to discuss it, man. No one wants to elaborate on it. They just really want to kind of let it go by and let it be. Don't really want to get into it with people. You know, some people are scared to even talk to people about racism or things that they think of. And it's crazy. It's real crazy, because you should always want to talk about something you don't agree about, or something that to talk about to get it out, to make sure, elaborate on it, and make sure you can discuss it and fix it. That is the key. That is the key to the operation, is fixing things. And we want to get to that part. We want to get to that move in life to where we can fix it, to where we can make it look good, where we can love it, and where we can cherish it, and where we can hold on to it. So today, man, I put it out there. I wanted to talk a little bit about of the past of Black history, being that it's Black History Month, and I do these shows every Tuesday night. I wanted to end it this show with this month, not end the show, but I wanted to end this month with a little bit of Black history, just a little bit of the past, a little bit of the present, and a little bit of the future. But I want to give you just a little bit of insight on what One Blood really does in the community. Before I go too deep into it, One Blood is a movement of unity. It unifies people back to understand that we all are God's children, one human race, not a divided race. God didn't just come to the world to save just blacks, whites, and Hispanics, and Chinese, Asians. He didn't come to save one ethnicity group. He come to save all, and we're all in that one group. So it's an honor to be a part of the human race to me. I love it. I enjoy it. I get inspired just waking up with the color of my skin. I'm inspired just by being Black. I love my skin. I love being a Black man. I love being an African man, African descent. I love the fact of just being me, period. You know, I love what God created. I'm not against what God has created by no means, and by at all, period. I just love it. I enjoy it. So let's get into it a little bit, man. Let's talk about a little bit about the past. Let me pull some stuff up that I had posted previously. I do Black history posts all throughout Black history, so people can be aware of what we're doing, be aware of what we're going through, and be aware of what happened in the past. So let me hit it with this. Why was Black history even created? You know, in your eyes, you know, really, I would love to hear from you guys. What was why was Black history created from your perspective? Feel free to comment anytime. And if I get time, I'll elaborate on it a little bit and respond to you. So please feel free to do that. But the recording is that a beautiful statement was simple fact. It was made, thought of, and processed because of they wanted to recognize the birthdays and recognize important African Americans who did very, very important, outstanding things back in those days. The tasks that they completed, the missions that they were on, the goals that they met. That it was designed for that. It was designed to bring awareness to it, to bring a beauty to it, to let the world know, hey, this is what these people done. And then it kept going further. The young man who come up with it, his name was God have mercy, I can't believe I forgot it that quickly. Carter G. Woodson. That was the man who actually created. He initially started Black History Month. It was actually for a week first, and then it kept going and became for a month. So I thought that was great. I thought it was good. I thought it was a lot. I did a little bit about him, I think about 2 shows ago, when I was explaining what Black history meant to people. And just by going off that path of why it was created, he didn't leave out nobody that was unimportant to me as well. He wanted Black history to be known, period. Just Black history. Now, my theory is why it was created. With same goes along right along with his. I'm just adding to it, is to unify. That's my theory. I believe it was really to unify all of us together, to let people know, hey, we're all here together. We all have history together because we were growing together. We were coming up together. We were in the United States and different places in the world, and we're moving along together. And I believe American history needs to involve all history, not just one group. It needs to be a corporate history, all of it, the good, the bad, the evil, the ugly, all of it, the beautiful, all of it's history. It needs to be involved. It needs to be added into the mix, and to make the cake taste a whole lot better. You don't want to leave ingredients out. Every time you leave an ingredient out, you leave ingredient out, that cake's not going to taste the way you want it to taste. It's going to be a flat one, might not even rise properly, but you still have a cake. You just have missing ingredients. And we still have a world. We still have a United States. We're just miseducated. And I do believe that having Black history and Indian history, Latino history, all that added into the books would create a very, very, very educated, a very more welcoming United States versus we don't like this group don't like that group because of this situation that made it happen to one person, and the whole agenda of it is to destroy the likeness of that group, and that's terrible. That's a terrible way to live. It's a terrible way to be. So to the beginning of it and the past of it, I wanted to bring that part up. The other past is all the negative. A lot of people, now slavery was negative. I'm not going to sit here and say that it wasn't. But what I want to bring out of slavery, because I had someone to kind of not say per se go against me, but someone was kind of adamant about saying, hey, why are we posting bad things like slavery? Well, I was like, well, it's out of love. We're bringing all of it. It's a part of history. It's something that happened. Now, we might not like that part of history, but it's something that happened in history. Now, slavery was a bad thing, but it's something that happened, something that we need to correct. We was never reprimanded for it. Reparations were never given out. And to me, I'm be honest with you, since we're dealing with the past right now, without reparations, that means it's not that the Blacks would never forgave. I don't believe that. I think we are the most forgiving race ever known to man. I believe that with all my heart. What I believe is without it being done, I believe the white race never forgave themselves for what they did. And I truly believe that. I believe the best way to gain respect and to gain more knowledge and to gain more education and to gain more ability to love each other in a more respectful way is you got to forgive. And I do believe you forgive yourself first, and then it enables you to forgive others a whole lot faster. It's just like when I'm doing my speeches, I always say, you unite yourself with you first, because if you can't understand you can't love you don't love yourself, you don't like yourself, it's impossible to love me, to love you, to love anyone else. So, and I always go back to that because that is the baseline of what I teach and what I go off of, what God gave me to for my foundation. That past is a beast. In order to get past the past, we have to recognize it in the present. But we have to have that forgiveness in the present in order to get over, not just get over, but to be able to understand the past, why it happened, what can we do to get over it to happen, and what can we do to move on to make sure it doesn't happen again. Now, bringing it to the present, in my opinion, slavery is still going on. It's just a hidden agenda about it now. we may have been set free physically, but mentally, all the things that has took place throughout history, and the things that are still going on today. I still see crews. I'm in the construction field. Thank God I'm a supervisor and able to do the things that I can do. But the sadness of it is when I see crews of black men completely mistreated by white supervisors. And when I say it's really degrading, it's extremely degrading. And it's an outlook that you don't want to see. It's an outlook that you don't want to even visit. And it's an outlook that people don't even recognize. They still believe that it's not happening. There's a lot of folks out there in the world that still believe slavery is forgotten about. The world is a better place. For about the last 2 or 3 years, we have been taking steps back and going extremely back at a rapid pace. I mean, at a very rapid pace. White supremacy is jumped to a greater level than I've seen it since I've been here on Earth. And I remember coming back here in the 80s when we moved here from Raleigh. And I remember the talk and the sign that was in visiting here years before that, seeing the sign, "Welcome to KKK Town" in Smithfield. And like I said in the previous show, I met the man who actually tore that sign down. Man, that's history to me. That's history to me, and that's love to me. That's peace to me, because it's something that my people done to make it better. Some people say, might be saying, well, you shouldn't have been touching somebody else's property or things that were going on. I was thinking, in my eyes, that's a beautiful thing that you've done, because you're bringing it down. You're bringing down the destruction of the world, and it's sad because we're still going through that same destruction on today. And all that we do, and all that we go through, we're still bringing that heat today, and that's a sad situation. It's a sad day that we still can't walk down the street and not think about slavery. And people always say, why do we want to tear down the monuments and the Salas and Sam all those Confederate statues that are still up? Well, it's kind of hard to forget something if you have something to remind you of it. It's just like when you have pictures of your lost ones, the ones that are gone before you, your animals or your humans, your friends, family, relatives, whatever. Well, the way you remember it is you have a picture of it. So how can you forget it if you have a picture of it? That's the same concept. If we still have all this Confederate stuff still up down the streets, downtown Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Durham, and then those are the same places that are preaching the most, we need to forgive and forget. Well, I think you need to forgive yourself and take things down that keeps us in memory. It's just like a photo that you keep of your past. It might be, we're of age now, so we might have a lot of photos that was left back in high school, women we may have dated. You might have guys, women that you may have dated, or different scenes from vacations. Those are pictures that you really don't think about until you go back and look at the picture, and then you remember it. What's the same concept? Because every time we go downtown Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Durham areas where we see Confederate things, how can we forget the things that we've been through when it's consistently thrown in our face as a picture for us to be reminded? It's almost saying like, hey, don't you ever forget that we run this. And you have to try your best to put yourself in our shoes so you can understand that. And I know you're like, well, that's not the way I was raised. That's not the way I am now. Might not be. But what if all the things that we have done were monumented? All the things that we have created. There's a plethora of things that African Americans have created that we use today still. So what if we started making no statues consistently all throughout the country, and every time you turn around, you've seen something that reminds you of that black person created it, how would you feel? That's how you gotta look at it. You gotta flip it. You gotta put yourself in the shoes and see how we feel about it. Or the opposite race. If you're white and you feel this way, you gotta see how we gotta see how you feel. Is that I hope that makes sense to you. So dealing with the present, we're still dealing with some issues that we have to get over. But I do believe deep down inside my soul, definitely on a deep level, that forgiveness has to take place inside first, with the individual first, before you can actually really get over it. Because if you still have the pictures, you haven't gotten over it. If you're still looking at the pictures on, like I say, a week, or you have your anniversary of something that you love, and or a significant one, and you still look at the picture every year for anniversary, you haven't gotten over it. So with all the statues that are still up, that are still parading around, and people are still parading the flags, those Confederate flags and stuff around, you haven't forgiven yourself yet. And you never will until you are able to leave it to the side and leave it alone. That's when forgiveness will get in. That's when it will settle in. Because when you can go without looking at a picture, something that you love the most, and that reminds you of that good time or that bad time, or either what time or whatever it was, and you can look at that picture and it reminds you of it, and then you can just, at a point when you get to the point where you don't have to look at it no more, you at peace with it. That's where the beauty mark is in forgiveness. That's where the love is in forgiveness. That's where the understanding is in forgiveness. That's where the outreach is able to be kicked in, and we can start settling these emotions that we have towards each other only because of the color of our skin. That's a deep one. It's always has been to me. It's always been something that I don't understand that one. I can't even tell you how. I just don't. The color of your skin, I don't get it. But that's something I won't go into that realm on that one. But pouring over into the future, leading to that point, in order for us, family, to really get along and to really move forward in life, and really embark on the beauty of God's creations that He made in His own image, and really get into the relationships that we could genuinely have, there has to be a forgiveness that settles in. Without that, we won't move. We won't move forward, because the memories, the pictures, the monuments, the statues, all those are pictures of the past. They will always be there for reminders. And not only is it just reminding us, it's reminding you. And the more you keep it in your memory, the more and the more and the more it attacks your heart, your mind, and your emotions. And you get confused on the way you should feel versus how you really want to feel. I hope that makes sense for you, family. I hope that was good for you. I hope and pray that it settles in your heart and settles in your mind that forgiveness is the only way to increase yourself in life, but you got to forgive yourself first. My motto: if you don't understand, you don't love, you don't like yourself, it's impossible to love and understand anyone else. You have to get to a level in your life to where you want the betterment of you, and the greatness is in there, but it has to settle with forgiving you for everything you've done. When everything hit the fan for me, and like I told you, I went through a storm at 18, but the problem wasn't me forgiving that individual that I went through the storm with. That wasn't, or who gave me all the hell to go through it. That wasn't the problem. That was a chop, easy cake. The problem was when I had to forgive myself for everything that I had done. That's the kicker. That's when God could really work with me. That's when He could really move me forward. When I was able to really dig deep and forgive myself for everything, and then ask Him, "Hey, Lord, will you please forgive me?" It's deep, it's embedded, but it's nothing that you can't override and nothing that you can't bring out for the good and for his glory. That's my show, fellas. That's my show, family. I keep saying fellas all the time. I love talking to my mans. But look, truly, truly, One Blood really loves you. Stay peaceful, stay safe, stay motivated for life. There's so much more into it. There's so much more in life that we have that we're not putting out. And there's so much more that we can do together, actually. But like I say, we can't move forward if you don't forgive yourself for all the things that you have done in your past and for your ancestors. All that stuff has to be washed away. It has to be washed out of your mindset. So you can change it. Change your mindset on how you think. Change your mindset on how you go and how you do things in life. And I promise you, without a shadow of a doubt, you'll be able to move forward with your life. You'll be able to get along. You'll be able to do what you need to do. And you'll be able to prosper in all that you do. Peace and blessings to you. Remember, all day long that One Blood loves you. Be safe. Be blessed. Y'all be good. Be easy.